I think now you could find me not only on MSG Varsity, but maybe in a post office. I have become one of the most despised people overnight. What happened? They loved me in football. They loved me in basketball. They loved me in the beginning of the lacrosse season, and then all heck broke loose last week. Out in Rocky Point, they refer to Mr. Lax as Mr. X-Lax because he had a bad week. Then you got my man Pete Graham leading the charge up in Darien, the Darien boys' parents killing me because I never picked the Blue Wave. And now the girls are upset with me at Darien. Mrs. Morrill hit Raph with an email saying that I have no journalistic integrity. She's upset because the way we covered the Suffern Darien girls game. Last time I checked, we were the only ones who covered the Suffern Darien girls game. You want to be upset? Be upset with people who didn't show up to one of the top girls games in America. I can't win on and off the field. How'd I do? Oh my gosh. Watch out, Paul. They're going to be picketing in front of your house in Darien, pal. Greenwich, Darien. Oh, boy. I picked Greenwich to win this game. Then I didn't realize this Sammy Mays, Big Red just leading the charge, number 18 on the defense. McCarthy and the boys. What a great defense. And then you put in Minikis and Reed. You have the recipe for greatness for Darien. Disaster for Mr. Lax. Darien runs away with it 10-4.
Disaster is the perfect word for you.
Wow. Hudson Valley, Lakeland Panis, Somers, the Genevieve Bowl. My buddy Lou, the longtime coach at Somers, was even a longer time assistant at Lakeland Panis. But I'll tell you what, Tim ain't his cousin, he's just Tim Cousin, and he's a heck of a player. The Albany bounder, the game winner. Somers beats Lakeland Panis, so Mr. Lax, unfamiliar territory, 1-1.
Oh, you won a game. I like it. I like it.
You get a sense that Raff Avenue leads to nowhere? Stay in the Hudson Valley, Long Island. Number 14, Yorktown. Number 7, St. Anthony's. St. Anthony's is rolling now after that loss to Chaminade about 7 games ago. Yorktown reeling. Beat Wilton earlier this week, but on this day lost to St. Anthony by 5. Laviano, terrific. Cannon, great in the pipes.
Raff Avenue is for winners, and I guess we'll allow you back for now.
I would love to know who lives on Raff Avenue. Long Island, Connecticut, Chaminade, Fairfield Prep. We like the Jesuits in this game. Sammy Bonafide must have seen this segment. The Princeton bounder took this thing over in the 4th quarter, made Chaminade a winner and me a loser.
Well, clearly you don't live on Raff Avenue. You've been kicked off.
Buddy, I never wanted on. Stay on Long Island, Cold Spring Harbor, Friends. Good game. Remember, for the last 14 games, the series was in the favor of Cold Spring, 13-1. But the big one was last year's seed title that Friends won. Jordan Walter, the wonderfully skilled midi, heading to Notre Dame. He got the game winner. Cold Spring Harbor got the 1-goal win.
Oh, nice. You're winning a little bit more than last week. I like it.
Why is he talking in the background on the monitor? Rocky Point, Sayville. Again, they don't like me in Darien. They don't like me in Rocky Point. Mr. Lax was wrong. He underrated Justin Ray. He put on a show. My man Patty Dallin in the goal. Terrific once again. Rocky Point, 4 better than Sayville.
Mike, stay this way, please.
What'd he say? And then in the Catholic League against New Jersey, Iona Prep, Bergen Catholic. Bergen really nothing to play for in this game. Won the Bergen Jamboree title over the weekend against Northern Highlands. Top seed in non-public A. But yet Hammerly's guys showed their muscle. Chris Blewett, 2 goals, 3 assists. A sensational play in this game. Go to Johnny Malone's article and you can click right to the play. Blewett, phenomenal. Bergen, still undefeated. They win by 5.
Bergen might be undefeated. You're not, but we'll be excited for you. You had a pretty good week.
Thank you, buddy. After 1-7, 4-3 is a phenomenal week. I will take anything I can get right now. Oh boy. Guess where I am today? Darien. I wonder if I know anybody in the Darien Police Department. I may need security. I don't need security. Bring it on. Bring it on. You know what? If you can't enjoy what we do, don't watch it. Because nobody else is doing this stuff. Nobody. Where are you going to get an hour and 11 minutes of girls lacrosse? Where? Where? And where are you going to get the boys lacrosse like this with shows, 4 different shows, top 20, put a face on it, the whole thing? Where are you going to get it? You're going to get it here. So it's very simple. You got to live with it. You got to live with this mug. You got to live with this face. And Graham, I'm standing right next to you for today's game. And everybody knows I'm a big St. Anthony's fan. Weiserick texting me the other night, going back and forth, he and I, like little schoolgirls. The love is back between me and the big guy in the black and gold. Let's get it on. I even lost Weiserick for a while this year. Oh, I can't wait for football. St. Anthony's Darien. This is the 4th time these guys will ever meet. And the Blue Wave leads the series 2-1. Darien is in the same predicament they were last week when on tonight, a week ago, they went to Yorktown with a huge game 48 hours away. Saturday, they will go to Tiger Hollow to take on Ridgefield. The winner of that game could be the top seed in the upcoming FCAC playoffs. Darien can't worry about that unless they don't care about a #1 national ranking and an undefeated season. Look to that game and forget about St. Anthony's, and the 0 turns into a 1. The Friars have Darien right where they want them. Right where they want them. They have a makeup game with Kellenberg next week, but for all intents and purposes, this to me, semifinal game of the Catholic League playoffs. What are you talking about? It's a public school from Connecticut. Use it as a tune-up to the game that you really want a week from today, AAA final, Chaminade. And what a better time to get Darien than now. They are on fire. On fire. Victories against New Canaan. Victories against victories against who they beat last week. They had great Yorktown. Victories against Greenwich. They're undefeated. One of only 2 teams in our poll still undefeated. Bergen Catholic, the other ones. Wow. What a perfect time. You want to see great goalies? Be up at Darien today. Hufford and Kincannon playing great lacrosse. St. Anthony started the year, we know, with the 2 losses. Since then, the big guys team is 12-1, playing wonderful lacrosse. Laviano, healthy, junior, going to Ohio State, and he's had big moments. And if this game is close at the end, it's very simple. Braymeyer, identify where Campbell is, okay? And if you don't believe me, ask Chaminade and ask who else this Campbell guy beat. Yorktown? Somebody? He's been on fire. He's been winning games late. Darien, after a subpar, it was a horrible year. For 12-8 for some schools is great. For Darien, it's a terrible year. This year, all those teams that beat them a year ago lined them up, knocked them down. Out-of-state teams, Manhasset, gone. Niskayuna, gone. Yorktown, gone. There's only one left, and that's today. St. Anthony's. Now, you heard me off the top. These Darien parents have been all over me for not picking their boys this year. I will not be swayed by parents telling me who to pick. Will not do it. So Darien, live with it. Put a face for the first time this year on the Blue Wave. And if they lose, it's going to be my fault. Of course it is. New Jersey, Catholic League. Del Barton, Chaminade. Del Barton 14-2, Chaminade 11-3. The last time Del Barton lost a lacrosse game, 13 games ago, to St. Anthony's. They have now run 12 in a row off. The only hiccup along the way was an 8-7 semifinal victory in the Morris County semis to get to the championship. They won it, squeaked by, 8-7. The next game out, earlier this week, they rolled Mountain Lakes to win their 13th Morris County championship. Barometers, let's use this. Let's take St. Anthony's out of the equation. Let's use Fairfield Prep as a barometer. About a month ago, Del Barton beat Prep 14-8. Last week, Chaminade beat Fairfield Prep late, 12-11, a game they trailed most of the way. Chaminade has 3 losses this year. Yorktown, St. Anthony's, Greenwich. I think they are starting to find their way the last 2-3 games. And this is a fun series. In the mid-2000s, Del Barton won 4 consecutive games against St. Anthony's. And then in 09, 10, 11, and 12, Chaminade won low-scoring games. Last year, Del Barton won 6-5. So when you look back, the last time a team won back-to-back games in this series, 2007, 2008, Green Wave 8-7 in 07, 12-5 in 08. Del Barton is rolling. Chaminade, if they were to get this game, like I said in the St. Anthony Darien game, use this, Jack, as a semifinal game, a tune-up for St. Anthony's. It's more than just a game to the kids now, because they know that Moran is sitting at 498. Win this, 499, Mr. 500, if they could beat St. Anthony's a week from today. And the kids know. Jack doesn't want to talk about it, but the kids know it. And what a better feeling than to knock down your arch rivals a week from now, and you get the legendary coach's 500th. But you can't do that if you lose to Del Barton. It's a physical, mathematical, astronomical possibility. Jackie Moran will be going for number 500 a week from today. Put a face on the Flyers. I think they need this game more than Del Barton does. And that's why I'm putting a face on Jack's kids. $4.99 after the win. A game that you can see live on msgvarsity.com and then Sunday morning, 9 o'clock on 414. Think they need it a little bit more. And the way Bonafide has been playing, watch out. Watch out. Isnardi, get ready though. Because Del Barton has changed the way they play. The beginning of the year, they were looking for special shots. Now they're just taking shots. And Mr. Lax knows the only way you can score is to take shots. Interesting crossover within the state of Connecticut. Let's get it on! This is the first time in 5 years that New Canaan and Fairfield Prep will play lacrosse. Where you been? Where you been? You used to play all the time. What happened? What happened? This is a game that should happen every year. Every year. I'm worried in this game for New Canaan. In the blowout victory against Joel Barlow, Harry Stanton banged up a little bit. A wonderful, wonderful player for the Rams. Wonderful. Will he go? Word is he will. But what's more important, to beat Bosco today and Fairfield Prep on Saturday, or the health of Stanton, making sure he's 100% for a run in the FCAC and a run in the Class M? That's what Buzzio has to figure out. If the cat is healthy, he'll be going. But if there is just a little bit of doubt, you got to sit this guy. Great goalies in this game. Nader, O'Connor, very, very good. Very good. This is a fun week, and you've heard us for the last 2 weeks on Quick Hits Connecticut talk about the last week of the regular season for New Canaan. Fun week. Non-league Barlow, non-league Bosco, non-league Fairfield. Fun week. Fun week. Are we going to say the Rams' victory on Tuesday against Barlow was a signature win? Nope. Nope. Maybe last year they wanted this game because Barlow knocked them out of the States a year ago. Disler's guys with the huge upset a year ago. Parade through Reading. This time they got him. I am looking for a signature win for New Canaan. And as I search and I search and I search, I don't see it. I see losses to St. Anthony's, a game they led, a game they were then tied at 5-5, and St. Anthony's just took them out behind the barn late in the game, gets out of there 10-5. I see a Greenwich team that late in the first quarter, up to the half, put this team away, and I see an overtime loss to Darien. 3 good teams, 3 good losses. You know what? You're New Canaan. There's no such thing as good losses. You're one of the premier programs in the tri-state. No good losses. None. When you look at Fairfield Prep, they have a signature win against Greenwich. But when they play these big out-of-league games, you know, the security blanket of that SCC conference that they play in and they beat everybody by 15 goals, when the security blanket comes off, sometimes they get exposed late in games. Remember, they led Del Barton this year, lost 14-8. They led Chaminade, lost 12-11. They led St. Anthony's. They lost 11-10 in overtime. This is a very, very difficult game to pick. Fairfield Prep has a signature win. New Canaan doesn't. Until now, put a face on the Rams. Uh-oh, did somebody hear a roar up on Highland Avenue Tuesday night? Major upset in the making, or was it? Maybe Mr. Lax has just underrated this Brian McMahon team all year long. Because they put a scare into the big bad Cardinals of Greenwich. And I don't want to hear that Greenwich was without 3 starters, resting them up. You know what? You're Greenwich High, you have 1,000 kids, you have an off-the-chart feeder program. Don't want to hear it. What I love about this McMahon team right now is they've heard all the naysayers. Me going, I haven't played, but you know what? Okay, now they're playing teams and they're beating teams. Listen, is Wilton the best Wilton team of all time? No, but they're still Wilton. They beat them in overtime the other day. And they had Greenwich 4-4 at the half, 7-6 after 3. Greenwich outscores them 4-1 in the 4th to win that game. Andy Stockfish has done a wonderful job in his first year as the head coach of Brian McMahon, replacing the great Mike Epstein. Let's use the Wilton thing as a barometer. Senators win last week 10-9. Staples beats Wilton last week 9-8. Wow, where do you go? Killer schedule for the Senators to end the regular season. Greenwich earlier this week, Ridgefield today, and this Staples game next Tuesday. With the loss to the Cardinals, the Senators, the Cats in red, white, and blue, suffered their first league loss, just their second loss overall. They bring a blue-collar mentality. It's Staples and Patty Leash and Will Johnson that will wear the blue, but it's McMahon that brings the blue collar to the game of lacrosse. Channing Thomas, if you haven't seen this kid, the defenseman for Brian McMahon, I love him. Are his stick skills up to par with the great Poles in the tri-state? No, they're not. But I'll put this guy athletically on any kid in the tri-state. His future is bright, bright, bright. Shannon Thomas, I love this guy. Chris Gack, wonderful year. Justin McIntyre, wonderful year. Mitch Bartolo, terrific year. And remember this, the sport of lacrosse is about possessions. And did anybody take notice of what James Campbell did at the X against one of the best face-off guys in the tri-state, Greenwich's Michael Sullivan? He held his own. The last time McMahon beat Staples in the regular season was 2009. Caught him in the playoffs in 2011 and took down the Wreckers. Staples 9-4, McMahon 10-2 as of the taping of this show. What's the difference in this game? Staples has a very balanced offense, get a lot of guys involved. McMahon has quite possibly the best goalkeeper in the United States of America. Loyola-bound Josh Miller, who in the second half of this season has been like Lundqvist. He has been unbelievable. He's allowed 6.5 goals per game. In order for McMahon to win this game and head into the FCAC playoffs, they'll have a game against Ward after this, but in order to head into the FCAC playoffs with some mojo, they need this game. But so does Staples. Right now, the way I see it, whoever wins this game is going to probably get the 5 seed in the FCAC playoffs. Load up the bus, Mataferri. Your guys are going on the road as a 5 seed. Put a face on the Senators of Brian McMahon. Working my man Mataferri, the Mad Dog, into the picks. You know it's good when you're talking about Mataferri. One of the best athletic directors in the tri-state, bar none. Super guy. Over in New Jersey. Wow, a year ago, Immaculata, Tommy Mott's guys, 12-9. What? What? Uh-oh. It's amazing what an offseason will do and a year of maturity. Let's get it on! Somerset County Championship, gonna be a fun game. Gonna be a fun game. Ridge has been there and Ridge knows what to do. They've played in these games, they've won these games. Like last year. 12-9 Immaculata a year ago. Uh-oh. Beat St. Anthony's early in the year. It's like, wow. I remember Weiserick said, Mike, these guys are legit. They're legit. And then they go and lose to Watchung Hills after the loss to Georgetown Prep, one of the top programs in America. That's it, Mott. You guys are done. Mr. Lax doesn't want to talk about you anymore. And then all of a sudden, Kinney gets in my head. And Immaculata comes back into conversation. Why? Big win against Ridge. When you beat the defending Tournament of Champions titleist and the defending Somerset County champion, now all of a sudden, they perk up. And when you beat them 10-5 in the regular season, and the way you did it by jumping them early in the blink of an eye, and it was like 7-1, 7-0. Uh-oh, we're back. Watchung who? No. That's a thing of history. Paulie Rasimowitz has been sensational. You've heard Kinney go on and on about the Fogo. Mitty, getting things done, possessions, okay? That's what you want in this game. Immaculata, when they played Ridge the first time, Owen Malloy knows it. The Ridge goalie, very talented, going to Notre Dame. They were very efficient with their shooting. And every time they shot, they scored. I think they took 13 shots in the first half. They had 7 or 8 goals in the first half. If you are Ridge, you can't let these guys get out to a 4-1, 3-0 lead and play catch-up. You can't. Owen Malloy has got to come up huge in this game. Listen, I was a little worried about Ridge in the middle to the later part of the season. They weren't scoring the way they were. Now Palladino, the Harvard bounder, has got his mojo back. Quigley, very talented. Mojo is back. But is there a better lacrosse family in the tri-state this year than the Vanderbeek family? I mean, you got the twins as seniors going to High Point next year. You got a junior who's incredibly talented. It's the V-Boys. They make movies about guys like this. There's just too many of these guys running around. And they will tonight. That's why Immaculata is your new Somerset champ. Put a face on the big eye. Can't we all just get along? What do we have here, boys? Little stuff here. Ooh. Don Bosco. Now, the St. Anthony's Darien game has been changed to 3:45 And I'm not sure as we speak if that is going to be a camera one. The game is not on the football field, it's on the field in front of the school. So we will definitely have highlights of that game on Quick Hits next week. And who says we don't say nice things about Darien? And then Saturday, Prep New Canaan. Wow. And the Suffolk Class B quarterfinal out on Long Island. And then the big boys, we're going to roll that thing down Jericho. And I just drove by Chaminade this morning. The turf is on behind the bleachers. Looks very good. Very good. So, Del Barton going to Chaminade. A game if Jack Moran, the legend, one of the great guys anywhere, forget coaching, just great people anywhere, if he is to get his 500th this year, then his kids have to step up against Del Barton. Going to be a very, very tough game. Kind of a strange week. Thankfully, we have a couple of these crossover games, but everybody now, except Connecticut, is on to the postseason. It's crazy. Where is it going? Where is it going? I wonder if the Darien girls will be playing, like, near the boys. I'll go over there, watch that game, and maybe people will yell at me. It's okay. It happens all the time. See you, everybody.